morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world and whatever platform you are watching / listening to. This is another edition of the Wrestling with Faith Wrestling Volumes. And before I introduce our esteemed guest, you can get us on Twitter at faith_wrestling. You can also get us on facebook.com/wrestling with faith UK and on YouTube even, which is Wrestling with Faith. That's youtube.com, Wrestling with Faith. No UK on the end of that handle. And you can also get us on Spotify and various other podcasts that are available through Anchor, such as Apple, Google, and also Amazon as well. And let's get straight into it because we are extremely blessed. And this brother has a patience of a saint. He knows my issues with technology and this podcast that we're trying to arrange. And listen, I'm just going to go straight into it. Please welcome our esteemed guest today, Rico Gonzalez. Rico, how are you doing today, my friend?
Yes, sir. If there's something that God has given me, it has been patience. And I am blessed, brother. We're having beautiful weather here in Atlanta, Georgia today. And I'm outside for this podcast, like I like to do on my podcast.
Slightly better where I am today, which is I am pitched up in a hotel room in Reading, but the weather outside isn't too great. But it's okay, man. They've got a fabulous gym, and I've been in there twice today, and I'm feeling blessed. So it's all great. And now I'm talking to you. Rico, you have been a part of a lot of indie circuits, indie promotions as well in the US, but you've also hit the limelight with some of the more well-established mainstream promotions in the US, most notably the hardcore bloodthirsty arena that is GCW, and also at the moment one of my favorite primetime wrestling shows, AEW as well. Let's go down to the basics, though. Where did your love of wrestling kick in? When did it really start, and how has it led you from there to here?
So my love of wrestling started around middle school for me. I'm not sure if y'all call it middle school over there, but it's
secondary school sort of thing.
Secondary school. So around middle school for me, maybe 6th or 7th grade, all my friends were into wrestling. And I think I was the only one out of the friend group that wasn't. I was always and still am a very outdoorsy person. So I always would get home from school. I would lie to my parents about having done my homework just so I can go outside, ride bikes, play freeze tag, manhunt, climb trees, you name it. Everything that had to do with outside, I was there. Awesome. But every Monday and Friday, my friends would leave to go inside to go watch wrestling. And after a while, they finally convinced me to watch it. And I think I was on the phone or maybe on MySpace or something, messaging one of my friends, and they were like, "You got to turn to this channel and watch this show." So I turned on SmackDown, is what it was. And I remember watching it and being in like total confusion. I didn't know what was going on. There was a lot going on for me to process, you know?
Yeah.
And the following week, I watched Raw. And I remember watching, I think it was either Shawn or Undertaker come out. And once they came out and I saw an arena of people just come up and focus all attention, all energy was going to this one person. And that just like took me to like it. I don't even know how to explain it. It was just, I didn't understand. I was like, why is everybody just so intrigued by this one person? And I think that's when it was that I was hooked by it.
I mean, either of those wrestlers would have been great to sort of get your buzz off from. I mean, we're talking The Undertaker, we're talking Shawn Michaels, forever going to go down in the history books of wrestling. Love them or hate them, boo them or cheer them. They were a massive part of what has shaped wrestling into what it is now. Both very, very different styles of wrestler, both very, very different on the mic, extremely different gimmicks. Some might say polarizing gimmicks.
Oh yeah,
But even when they got together in the ring, it worked. There was just something there. And those guys as
magic.
well, obviously, when you do a deeper dive into the history, when it was the Monday Night Wars, those guys stood firm with what was WWF back then. Now, obviously, WWE. When many, many others, some might say for the right reasons, you know, a lot of these people had families, jumped to WCW for bigger wages and for less dates, less travel time as well. And you know, Shawn and the Undertaker will, for me as a wrestling fan, will always be very well respected for staying firm on storm, you know, in the midst of a storm, because it paid off. It obviously paid off.
Uh, it sure
So
did.
great references there, man. Really, really appreciate that. So from there, obviously you got a love for wrestling, you got a taste for it. You're a big outdoorsy person anyway. That's obviously going to be a helpful factor. You know, but I would imagine there'll be some scrapes that you got yourself into as a kid, playing outdoors, climbing trees, getting on BMXs. We've all been there and done it. And I'm assuming, you know, was it fairly easy to find a wrestling school in your neck of the woods, or was that a bit of a problem?
Oh my God, I've been blessed, man. I have been just blessed. I've always felt that God has taken care of me my whole life. And when
Amen.
it came to wrestling, it was no different.
Yeah.
I remember I was searching schools and I was just searching wrestling just to watch more like, at a local level. And I remember pulling up WWE 4 here in Atlanta and seeing that Austin Theory had came out of the school, Wuhan Nation, which is Apollo Crews now,
Yeah.
and a few other guys that had came out of the 4. So I was like, oh, I looked up the school and I saw that they had a free Thursday show. So I started visiting the school here in Atlanta on a regular basis every Thursday, just going as a fan. And it is such a good time, such a great vibe, great environment. And I was hooked.
Awesome, man. It sounds like a really welcoming environment as well. I know we've spoken off air about your love for your school, and I know that you're going there tonight to have a match as well. We've spoken about that off air. I mean, what a great pedigree to kick off with as well. I mean, Austin Theory, you know, look how he's kicked on from
Oh my
there to
God, man.
NXT, and now obviously, you know, he's going to WrestleMania and he's fighting John Cena. Not many
Right.
people, not many people are going to have fighting the Peacemaker on their resume at the grandest stage of them all, man. So that's epic. And then obviously Apollo Crews as well, which you know, for me as a wrestling fan, very underused, very underrated, absolutely awesome wrestler. I think he's really handled the going from a face to a heel gimmick really, really well and
Oh,
made that transition because as well as getting big love when he was a face, he got mad heat when he was a heel as well. So that's a great pedigree. So you're going to a school there that has a proven track record for developing talent that has gone on to bigger and brighter things. Tell us about your coach, man, because when we're on about bigger and brighter things, tell us who your mentor is as well at school. Come on.
the highest flyer in the game. The Still to this day, one of the most underrated wrestlers in the world.
I would agree there.
That man, AR Fox, that man,
Yes.
the amount of knowledge that man possesses, the amount of knowledge that he gives us on a daily basis, on a weekly basis when we go train. And now the man's on TV. Now he's finally getting his flowers that he's deserved for years.
Yeah, man.
If you talk to any one of us, any one of his students, and it could be because we're a little bit biased, you know, we train under him, but even without that, if you just look at his body of work, if you just look at his matches, if you were to spend just a little bit of time around him and just listen to how he talks about wrestling, his mind just works in a crazy, just very detailed way to where one day any of us would hope to get to just close to how he thinks about wrestling.
Man, this is brilliant. And it's great to see him because obviously, you know, from a wrestling fan perspective in the UK, we got to first see and hear about AR Fox on, I believe it was Elevation, Dark Elevation, and obviously doing a lot of dark matches as well, which you yourself have cut your teeth on. You've had experience of being on AEW Dark as well. And then to see him obviously get in the mix with Top Flight to right before Christmas, what a time to be part of. Was it 300 grand that they won between them? Have I called that
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes, I
That's
believe
that
so.
man, that's not a bad little payday before Christmas.
Not
Do you
at
know?
all. Not at
Yeah,
all.
as as a husband with two boys as well. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't shake my nose at that, man. Do you know what I mean? But it was just great though to see him and Top Flight be, you know, be recognised in that, you know, then it not be the usual suspect, shall we say, in inverted commas, winning the main events. And then obviously they've kicked on together as well. You know, they've beaten the elite as well. And he's just gone on. And to look at him as well, when obviously you train with the guy, you know him on a personal level, but when I'm watching him on TV, it almost seems like, and I don't mean this in a corny way, that he has already got the respect of the AEW locker room as well, like who he teams up with, who he goes against. There just seems to be on screen that, yeah, this guy might not have been main eventing as long as what we have, but this guy just knows, man. He's like you just already touched upon, he's got knowledge. I mean, is he a great guy to be around personally, both in and out of the ring as well? And is he backwards and coming forwards if he feels that you're not pulling your weight?
Oh man, Fox is one of the most selfless people that you'll ever meet. He will always put everyone ahead of him, and he will never not help. He will always give you information. He will always give you great feedback. And I think, like you said, you can feel that respect almost coming through the screen from his opponents, from his colleagues, and that's anywhere you go here. Any shows that we get on, they know who Fox is, and if they've had any interaction with him, they know how great he is both in and out of the ring. So we always, it's such a, how do I put it? We've been blessed with this. Almost, you arrive at a show, and because of you were trained by Fox, we almost get treated a little bit better just
It comes with
because of
some
what he's
pedigree,
done
yeah.
for other people. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, no wrestling pun intended, but yeah, it does come with some sort of prestige attached to it. That not only is this guy a phenomenal wrestler, but he just sounds like a phenomenal coach and just a phenomenal person to be around, man. He sounds like, a blessing because I do hear stories when I'm doing podcasts with other wrestlers that, they've had some really tough coaches. Like some people who are sort of very sort of drill instructor based, some that are quite
Yeah.
passive as well and don't really push them on. And it's nice to hear a positive story about a guy who is on our screens, who hasn't forgotten where he's come from and who he's teaching. So man, that praise God
Absolutely.
for that, man. These people are few and far between. So let's get back to
Absolutely.
you anyway. I mean, AR Fox, if he wants to come on the podcast, we'll make it all about him, but we're going to make it about Rico Gonzalez now. So you've gone from, like I say, you've done the indies. I mean, tell me about GCW, man, because that is true blood and thunder. I mean, we all know who Nick Gage is. We all know that Matt Cardona has gone there. Jarrett's done there and done his thing. Effie's done his thing there as well. You know what was the vibe like when you got in there, man? Did you have any preconceptions? Was it as intimidating as it looks on the screen? I mean, walk me through it.
Man, it's the first time I got the pleasure of being able to work for GCW and be in a GCW locker room was actually here in Atlanta. So it was here at Center Stage, which is one of the best venues that you can perform at in general, just aside from wrestling. But I was fortunate enough to be able to work here in Atlanta at Center Stage, and as as intimidating as it looks on screen, all those guys are so welcoming, man. Nick Gage is, he's the man. I cannot brag about that man enough either. He will always be backstage just encouraging everybody, watching matches, telling you what you did well. Really just a very positive person. He'll rip your head off in that ring.
And pizza
But
cut
once,
your head off as well.
oh man. But once that match is over and he's in the back, he is the sweetest guy, man.
Oh man, that is awesome. And crowd wise, what was the buzz like from the crowd? Because obviously we're going to come on to AEW shortly, your time spent in that. But what was the buzz like from a GCW crowd, man? Because that looks, again, that crowd knows what it wants. It knows why it's pitching up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can there's few times that I've had the blessing of being able to feel a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Not just hear them, not just what. Well, actually, in that venue, I couldn't even see them because the lights were so bright. I couldn't even see like past the first row.
Wow.
But you can feel it. You
Mm-hmm.
feel that buzz before you come out. You feel that buzz in between matches. They're ready. They're bloodthirsty, like you said. They're ready for some wrestling, man. And you gotta bring it when you're on that GCW stage. You
Yeah.
have to absolutely bring it 110%. So luckily for me, that just fires me up even more. I was ready, man. I was ready to go out there, and luckily it went well. It went well both times.
Awesome. Do you feel that in an environment like GCW that you can push yourself harder, you can take more risks and maybe do things that you can't do in other promotion necessarily based on the type of audience that you've got there, or do you still just go in there and just think I'm just going to keep on doing Rico Gonzalez?
Oh, so that's a tough question, and that's something that I'm still learning now. I actually had that. It sounds weird saying it out loud, but I had that conversation with myself recently. Do I want to turn it up when I'm on GCW as opposed to like a local show here in Georgia or at the
Mm-hmm.
four? And I think that's something that I'm still learning, that I'm still coming to terms with. I would say I like to turn it up, or just give it a little something different every match that I'm in. That GCW crowd wants craziness. They want blood. They want high spots. They just want to see something crazy. So yes, I do. I want to say I went a little harder physically in a GCW ring, as opposed to maybe on another show. I would look more towards mentally or being more having my psychology down a little bit more. Just depends on where I'm at, but that's also something I'm still learning as a performer myself, where I want to go, whether I just want to be the same, have the same type of, how do I explain this, be the same type of wrestler on every show, or go a little bit harder for other shows. It's something I'm still learning.
Man, that's awesome. I mean, the fact that you know yourself, you've just said it there. You're not the finished article, Rico, and it's refreshing to hear somebody that's honest, that's still finding the feet. You're only going to find your feet by doing matches and being out in front of the public, yeah, to test out what part of your wrestling theatre lands. Because let's be honest, it is. I mean, yeah, it's gladiatorial. It's in the ring. The crowd want to be entertained. They want blood and thunder. They want high flying. They want heavy hitting, hard hitting, and they want risk. But you've obviously got to find the
Yeah,
balance that. But yeah, and you've got to balance that with the theatre aspect, haven't you, as well? Your character, are you face, are you
absolutely.
heel? And if I do decide whichever side of that fence I fall on, how am I going to get over as well? And do you find that side of things comes naturally, the sort of the performing art side of wrestling, or do you find that's more difficult than wrestling itself?
I think that's the most difficult part of wrestling is the character aspect, the presentation aspect, the what we call in betweens, stuff that's not the moves.
Yeah,
That I think that's the most difficult part of wrestling for, I don't want to speak for everybody in wrestling, but for most wrestlers, that is the most difficult part, because the moves you can learn them. Not anybody, but I think for me personally, I've just been blessed. I kind of know how to control my body. Maybe it's because I'm a smaller guy, but as far as the moves came down, and then just having Fox as a trainer, that came down a little bit easier. But it's the presentation that sells you as a performer. So that's something that I'm still learning also. I just throw things at the wall and see what sticks. And luckily I've had more positives than I've had negatives. But sometimes you have to fail too in order to learn.
100%. Yeah, that's the only way you learn, don't you? You know, you're casting your net out to see what you catch. And if you're not catching a lot one night, maybe 2 nights, maybe 3 nights, something's got to give, right? Something's got to change.
Right. Right.
Obviously, now we've done the GCW. I've seen a lot, obviously, on screen of GCW. You've been in the thick of it. You've been in the Lions Den. We move on to that. From that, I should say, on to AEW. Obviously, you've had some matches on there. You've been with is it Balian Aki, and
yes, sir.
you've also
one half of the best buds.
Yeah, great wrestler as well, really good wrestler.
Yes.
And you've also had the fortune slash misfortune of being on the receiving end of our current AEW TNT champion, Will Powerhouse Hobbs. What's the atmos like when you step out in front of an AEW crowd, first of all?
Oh, man. I can tell you right now, the first time I stepped out there against Powerhouse Hobbs, I was not ready. I wasn't ready for that crowd reaction once he came out. Mm-hmm. I was standing in the ring, and for some reason, I wasn't as nervous as I thought I was going to be. I was out there, and I was just trying to take it all in as much as I could. I was just looking around. It'd been the first time I've been wrestling at Daly's place in an arena in front of however many people were there that day. So I was just trying to take it all in before Powerhouse Hobbs came out. And when the lights went dark and his music played, I felt something that I had never felt in my life before. And that is, I'm sure you've been to an arena for an event, for a live event for wrestling.
Yeah. Oh, I've been to a few, man.
So you feel that when you're in the crowd, you feel that energy, you feel that buzz. The people are just ready for somebody to come out to make noise, to cheer, to boo, to do all of it.
Yeah.
But I had never felt that inside of the ring, and it's completely different. Once that music played, it felt like the crowd just came up, and all the energy, not just the noise, but all that energy just got dumped in the ring.
Wow.
And it caught me off guard. I was like, oh my God. I was just looking around like, we're live. This is real. Like, I got goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it. Wow. But it was something like I have never felt before.
That sounds quite intense. Just you describing it, Obviously, I wasn't present there. Certainly, I'm not in any rush to get to stand in the way of Powerhouse Hobbs. Do you know what I mean?
I don't recommend it.
Man, you know what I mean? I'm daft, but I'm not stupid. Do you know what I mean? At least you're skilled enough to at least give it a go, man. He'd pick me up and use me as a toothpick. But
sometimes I overestimate myself, and I think that was one of those times.
But what I want you to tell us all, Rico, now that you're not in the presence of Powerhouse Hobbs, come on, tell us the truth, man. Is that guy a pussycat backstage? Come on, tell us, man.
Oh, I don't want to give too much away. I can't give
we see him on there. We see him on Sammy's vlog and sometimes on the Elite vlog as well. So you know what I mean? We see a little bit of the real Powerhouse, but
yeah. I will say he didn't take me out. He could have taken me out completely. He could have taken me out of wrestling, but I'm still alive to be able to tell the story. And he smells good.
Oh, there we go, man. Even better. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to get squashed by somebody, man, at least the brother's got to have decent cologne. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's all good. All good.
Which I pride myself on also. I like smelling good on something.
Maybe he's telling somebody right now the same thing about you. Who knows?
I hope so.
That conversation could be happening. Maybe he's telling QT Marshall that right now. But yeah, man, that's awesome. listen, Rico, it's been an absolute blessing having you on, and obviously, I thank you once again for your time and your patience in coming on to this. Before we go, we're going to do some on-the-spot questions. You've had a little bit of prep work on this, okay? So here we go. Curveball. Congratulations, Rico Gonzalez. You are the captain of your very own WWE Survivor Series team. You can pick 4 people, 4 teammates to back you up as the captain. You can pick them from any promotion, anywhere in the world. Doesn't have to be mainstream. They can be people that are legends that are no longer with us, that have gone to be with the Lord, that are retired, that are still active, or that are up and coming. And they can be male or female. That's your choice. The only problem you've got is you're going against me and my Survivor Series team. But you've got to show your cards first for our show mine. So who are the 4 people that is backing up Rico Gonzalez at Survivor Series 2023?
All right. So I'm going to give a couple shout outs. I'm going to put people on my team that have helped me get ahead, that have helped me get on AEW, that have helped me get on GCW, that have put me on. Shout out to them. And I truly believe that we'd have a strong team. First of all, with my coach, AR Fox.
Of course.
Because he's going to be in my ear just giving me the cheat codes.
Yes. Like it.
He's going to give me everything I need to get ahead. You got AR Fox. Second, I'm going to put Effie on my team.
Wow, yeah.
Because whoever you pick, you guys can't prepare for Effie. Nobody can prepare for Effie. Effie doesn't even know what Effie's going to do. Third, I'm going to pick my girl, Billy Starks, who is absolutely killing it on the indies right now. And I have a feeling we'll be leaving the indies here shortly. Yeah. So I'm going to put her on my team. And, oh my God, so many people have helped me get ahead.
It's your final pick, Rico. It's got to be a big one, man.
I am going to go with, we're live here. Who's going to be my final pick? I'm going to go with my boyfriend, AC Mac. Somebody who always keeps me sane, keeps me afloat. He's going to keep me calm the day of that show.
Okay, cool. Right. Let's start with Mac first of all then. So I'm going to go Mustafa Ali.
Oh, he is a big fan. Let me tell you that. He is a big fan of Mustafa Ali.
Anybody brings up underrated, underused wrestler, he's got to be top of the list, man. Your boy, your coach, your mentor, AR Fox. Going to go up against Ricochet.
Ooh, what a match. That needs to be a single.
Man, that's Meltzer 7 stars, man. You know what I mean? Forget 7-star FTR, man. That's the match that we want to see. Right, against your girl, Billy. God bless her. She politely told me that she'd love to come on the podcast, but she is absolutely stacked until later this year. But God bless her. She did actually reach out to me. So, and I can't afford that anyway. So to go against Billy, we need to have somebody who has got the minerals to be able to take her on, that can get her on the mic, try and get some rent space in her head and live in there for a little while in the run up to the match. So I'm going to go Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, to counter that as well.
Ooh.
And then last one, man. Last one against Effie. We're going to have to bring somebody in who's equally as unpredictable. And again, just to put on a show, I think this would work. I'm going to go Danhausen.
Oh, wow. Not expecting that, but wow.
Just for the unpredictability factor. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just going to throw that in. And not only that, wrestling doesn't have to be serious, man. Do you know what I mean? Let's have some fun with it. Let's have some fun. Do you know what I mean? So let's see if Effie gets cast by Danhausen in that one. So that's awesome. And I have been funny, mate, but with your team and my team, it's 7.5 stars, that match.
Absolutely, hands down.
We're going to bring that. Last one from me. Congratulations, Rico Gonzalez. You are the AEW TNT champion. You got your revenge on Powerhouse Hobbs. You pinned him. And because you're such a gentleman, even when he was laid out, straight after that 3 count, you went, sorry, brother, you still smell good, before you took his belt. The following week on Dynamite, you're issuing an open mic challenge. You stood there in the middle of the ring, giving it the big licks. You're the man now. Who do you hope out of any promotion? I'm talking AAA, New Japan, WWE, House of Glory, the Indies, Impact, MLW, on and on and on. Anybody, even a legend, who do you hope steps through either the heel or the face tunnel? One person answers your open challenge for the TNT belt. Who do you hope steps up?
Oh my God. I'm going to make it easy for me. I'm just going to stay in AEW. That way I don't have to I'm just so many wrestlers crossing my mind right now. I'm just go straight to the top. I hope Chris Jericho comes out, and I'm going to make a name for myself off of Chris Jericho.
Man, the Lion Tamer, Y2J, the Ocho. Man,
yes,
you know what? That guy is pushing 52, I believe, and still got it.
Right. So I'm gonna just run circles around him.
Yeah, still got it. And who knows?
I might be overestimating
you could have a little bit of the bubbly at the end of it as well. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Rico Gonzalez, it's been a God-given pleasure to have you on the podcast. The platform's yours now, brother. We've got a couple of minutes. Plug your socials, plug your matches. Where can people reach out to you? Where can people find you? Where can people see you? Where can people follow you, brother? The platform's yours.
Yes, sir. So I made it easy for each and every one of you. All my socials are at Rico94 Gonzalez. Instagram, TikTok. I'm gonna work on making some TikToks here shortly. Some I've been putting off. What we got? Twitter. I'm on YouTube. I put some of my matches on there.